From news and views, issues and opportunities, we'll have in-depth conversations with decision makers to find out what they know and what they think. I'm Rico Hizon, inviting you to join in this special Christmas episode of The Exchange in recognition of our overseas Filipinos, because your business is our business. This month, we honor overseas Filipino workers who toil day and night, thousands of kilometers away from home to provide for their families. As the government sees to it that the welfare of workers is protected, the private sector stands ready to make sure the fruit of their labor reaches home safe and secure. As for our kababayans, it's not just about earning to survive, as it is making a mark in their fields of expertise. The vision of overseas Filipino success in our sweet vision. December is a time of much-awaited reunions between overseas Filipino workers and their families. How is the welfare of OFWs while they're oceans away from their loved ones? Let's now have an exchange with Center for Migrant Advocacy Philippines Executive Director Ellen Sana. Ma'am Ellen, maraming salamat po for joining us on the program. Ang tawag po sa mga overseas Filipino workers, living heroes. Kasi sa bilyon na bilyon dolyares na rinirimit dito sa ating ekonomiya. Pero ang rights ba nila and welfare are being protected, or does the government need to do more?
Definitely, we would say na napaproteksyonan ng ating mga karapatan ng ating mga OFWs, pati ang kanilang mga kapakanan. Kasi we've been into this overseas employment program for more than 40 years. 50 years na nga eh. Pero, sabi mo nga, we could still do a lot more, particularly our government. At maganda itong pagkakataon na ito kasi nagta-transition tayo sa isang bagong departamento. Ang tahanan ng OFWs, ang Department of Migrant Workers. So mataas lalo ang expectations ng ating mga OFWs and their families na sila ay mabibigyan ng proteksyon at pangangalagaan ng kanilang mga karapatan sa lahat ng stages ng migration.
Gaano po kaimportante ang role ng ating mga OFWs sa ating ekonomiya?
8%, 9% of the GDP or the GNP ay galing sa remittances ng ating mga OFWs. And very interestingly, as you may know, nung panahon ng pandemya, ang unti-unti lamang ang pagbagsak ang pagbaba ng ating remittances. But it doesn't mean na nagtatry pa rin ng gusto, especially during the pandemic times, yung ating mga OFWs. Ang ibig sabihin lang noon, nagdoble, nagtriple kayod, lalo na nung panahon ng pandemya, where a lot of our migrant workers were displaced from their jobs.
What more can the government do in supporting our kababayans who are working overseas?
Siyempre, palagi dapat dyan alerto na pagka mayroong nagpasaklolo, consider it as urgent. Hindi po pwedeng, ay teka muna, nagta-transition pa tayo. So mahalagang-mahalaga yung kagyat na pagtugon ng ating gobyerno, narito man sa Pilipinas and more so kung nasa labas ng bansa. Very urgent din yung panawagan natin sa ating gobyerno na sana ay mayroong talagang significant na mga programa para ma-entice sila na bumalik na sa ating bansa at dito na magsilbi at mag-contribute sa kaunlaran ng ating bansa at hindi na sa labas through the remittances.
For those who have lost their jobs, paano tinutulungan ng ating mga gobyerno ang ating mga kababayan na bumabalik dito at maghanap ng negosyo or ng panibagong trabaho?
Hindi dapat nagpo-focus lamang sa Department of Migrant Workers. Maraming programa, yung ibang mga ahensya ng gobyerno natin, Department of Agriculture, DOST, DTI, lahat yan sila pasok. Then lahat dapat ng mga ahensya pwede nilang lalapitan for opportunities for livelihood and reintegration. It's incumbent on the part of government na masiguradong napapaabutan sila ng wastong informasyon sa maraming programa na pwedeng ma-avail ng mga nakauwing OFWs at nagpo-consider na sana hindi na lang ako mag-a-abroad muli.
Maraming salamat po, Ma'am Ellen, for this OFW Rights Exchange. Center for Migrant Advocacy Philippines Executive Director Ellen Sana. And coming up on the exchange, where your business is our business. OFWs pack not only goods in balikbayan boxes, but also love for their families back home. We speak to an executive of LBC Express Holdings on making these deliveries arrive on time. From eco-friendly cleaning to celebrity styling, our kababayans embody excellence here and abroad. Keep it right here on CNN Philippines. News you can trust. Glad you're staying with us right here on The Exchange, where your business is our business. I'm Rico Hizon. What Filipinos abroad look forward to at the end of the day is sending packages to loved ones here in the Philippines. How are courier companies keeping balikbayan boxes delivery safe? We now have an exchange with LBC Express Holdings Chief Financial Officer, Enrique Rey. Enrique, great to have you with us. How important are balikbayan boxes in the Filipino Christmas experience?
LBC pioneered that back in the 80s, and it's now an integral fabric, built into the psyche of the Filipino community. Much to how you would treat our traditional pasalubong. It's just in a different form, coming from families overseas, back home.
And what has been the demand, Enrique, for LBC services so far during this holiday season? Give us an example of the volume of boxes and packages being shipped home during this Christmas season.
Well, Rico, I mean, it's really traditional, and the Filipino overseas community, on a regular basis, they send thousands and thousands of these boxes from North America, from the Middle East, from our Asian neighbors, Europe. You're talking anywhere from 7,000 to 7,500 containers for the year, and it goes all over the country, enjoyed by many families locally. It has not stopped even during the pandemic time.
How do you ensure that these goods inside your boxes are shipped speedily and efficiently without compromising quality?
Great question. All these boxes are sealed by the shipper, and they're typically handled with care in all our stations overseas. They go through a scanning process to ensure safety and security. And we use the best providers that are available. We have prearranged typically all our logistics partners heading to the December or the peak season, which is this season that we're experiencing now. Chances are a lot of our overseas Filipinos have shopped earlier than domestic demand to ensure that they're able to reach the Philippines in time. And upon reaching here, a lot of these boxes are again handled with care, much into all entering our facilities, as you can see in your video today. And they're then distributed to the doorstep of the Filipino families.
But of course, after the pandemic, it was a double whammy. You have rising costs due to the weak peso against the US dollar. You also have rising inflation amid soaring fuel prices. Have you inputted these costs into your operations and transferred this to the consumers and to your clients?
Actually, Rico, we've been able to, since this business is fairly stable, even during the pandemic time, we've been able to secure forward contracts with a lot of these logistics providers. Sure, there have been costs that have gone up. We all know about the supply chain glut that's ongoing right now, and fuel prices have gone up. We have not thoroughly passed on any of these increases to the sending public. And we've been able to even provide additional incentives and promotional activities.
And what is your outlook for 2023? Will the cargo handling businesses and remittances continue to soar, or are we going to see it stabilize?
I believe it's going to soar. I mean, there's some stabilization on the costs. We are seeing some of the costs rise, and we're trying to taper that down by forward planning. But we are very optimistic, as logistics has always been a busy segment throughout the year, especially during this time of the year.
Thank you, Ray, for this Balikbayan Box Exchange. LBC, Express Holdings Chief Financial Officer, Enrique Ray. And still ahead on the exchange, where your business is our business. What is the secret behind the OFW success story? We get answers from Clean and Green Cleaning Services, Mabel Amante Villena, and fashion designer Leslie Mobo. Keep it right here on CNN Philippines. News you can trust. Thanks for staying with us for this Christmas holiday exchange. Right here on CNN Philippines, where your business is our business. I'm Rico Hizon. Grit and determination are associated with the overseas Filipino workers, and so many have found success in their respective fields. What does it take to build your business or brand from the ground up, at home, and in a foreign land? Let's now have an exchange with Clean and Green Cleaning Services co-owner Mabel Amante Villena, joining us from San Francisco, California, and fashion designer Leslie Mobo from his hometown in Aklan. Happy holidays to both of you. Thank you so much for joining us on the exchange. First of all, Mabel, what made you set up a business here in the Philippines?
Well, the idea of putting up a business in the Philippines came up because of a personal need. Every time we go back to the Philippines, my husband will suffer an allergy attack. So, you know, when you have an entrepreneurial spirit, you always find a business opportunity in every situation. So that's why Clean and Green was born.
And Leslie, you lived in London, in the UK for many, many years, and you visit the Philippines every so often. What was your motivation behind going abroad to pursue your fashion dream?
Well, because I think when I was a young designer, I think when I started in the fashion industry, a lot of my mentors suggested that my talent should be really abroad, which is really quite sad in a way looking back, you know. And they said that I should study at St. Martin's because they think that my talent will benefit, you know, if I go there.
And Mabel, what challenges have you been encountering? Because you're based in San Francisco and you have a business here in Manila.
The franchisee, the US-based partner, and the Philippine-based partner together, they work on a day-to-day operations of the business. It's very hard because of the time difference. That's the first one. And also, you're not there. But again, with the technology, internet, it cracked the barriers.
Mm-hmm. And Leslie, you've made your success on opposite sides of the world. How important is it that Filipinos find success not only here in the Philippines, but also abroad?
I think that's a problem with the Philippines, I think, as well, is that a lot of our skilled people are actually leaving the country as well. I think at some point, you know, based on my career, I think, you know, I've worked with a lot of pretty much in all the fashion capitals in outside the Philippines, and I felt like the Philippines, I felt like I have to give back, and I think that there's something really great about the Philippines, and I think I have to do something. So, I really think that, you know, I felt more happy when I'm doing something Filipino or I'm working here in the Philippines. So I think it's just finding the balance, I think, yeah.
And Mabel, your advice to Filipinos who live abroad and who are setting up shop here in the Philippines and who also want to come back to the Philippines, and how they want to become successful in their respective fields?
Don't just rely on one income. I mean, for me, starting a business, create multiple income streams. Because of the uncertainty of the economy, you have to have different income streams. And for me, the best time to do it is while you're doing your 9 to 5 job, because your salary will fund your business or your side hustles. So there will come a point in time that your business or your side hustles will make more money than your business. Then you can fire your boss. You can go back to the Philippines, and you can be with your family, and you can retire early and have financial freedom.
And Leslie, your advice to Filipinos working abroad who want to become successful in their field?
Well, I think it's great. I think to a certain extent, I think, you have to enjoy working abroad and, learning from that. And I think my dream really is really like, hopefully that at some point, a lot of our Filipinos people will go back home and, do all this, all this sort of kind of talents and everything. I think we should really have, ignite or create a local talent market really in the Philippines, where regardless of what industry it is, in the middle of the ecosystem, that I think we should identify what is really great about being Filipino, and I think improve that. And I think at some point, hopefully, less Filipino will leave the country.
Thank you so much for this OFW Success Exchange. Clean and Green Cleaning Services co-owner Mabel Amante Villena and UK-based fashion designer Leslie Mobo. And this has been a special Christmas episode of The Exchange, honoring our kababayans abroad. Thank you so much for your service and hard work. I'm Rico Hizon. This is CNN Philippines. News you can use, news you can trust. Merry Christmas, everyone, and have a great holiday season.